This video did not exist in your timeline until the exact moment you directed your precious attention toward it. I want you to let that sink in for a moment. You are not a passive audience member sitting in the theater of life, simply watching events unfold upon a screen. You are the projector. Today we are going completely beyond the superficial layers of everyday life to uncover the greatest secret of your existence. We are going to explore the deep, mystical reality of the quantum field and the undeniable power of the observer effect. I promise you, by the time the screen fades to black at the end of this journey, you will no longer see yourself as a victim of chance. You will finally understand your true, sacred power as the supreme architect of your own experience. Tell me, have you ever felt a deep, unexplainable knowing that you were meant for something infinitely greater than the mundane life society handed to you? To truly grasp the magnitude of what is happening in your life right now, we must first establish the metaphysical truth of the universe. In the realm of quantum psychology and ancient mysticism, the world around you is not solid, fixed, or unchangeable. Instead, reality is composed of an infinite web of energy known as the quantum field. Within this boundless field, every possible scenario, every dream, every failure, and every triumph exists simultaneously as a hovering wave of pure probability. These waves remain invisible and formless until one specific element enters the equation. That element is you. More specifically, it is your conscious observation. In this universe, observation is not a passive act of just looking at something. Observation is an intensely active, deeply creative process. When you focus your consciousness, you force the chaotic waves of probability to freeze. You force them to collapse into a single, solid particle of physical experience. You are literally molding the clay of reality with every single thought. Let us begin by completely dismantling the greatest illusion of human existence. What society blindly labels as luck is nothing more than a profound misunderstanding of how the universe actually operates. Think about the concept of luck for a moment. It implies a chaotic, random universe where you are a tiny, powerless victim being tossed around by the whimsical waves of fate. But what if I told you that fate is a myth designed to keep your consciousness asleep? The truth is far more magnificent. You do not get lucky, you get aligned. Right now, in the vast, invisible architecture of the cosmos, infinite variations of your life exist simultaneously as waves of pure potential. Every possible outcome is already real in the energetic realm. When something incredible happens to you, you did not win a cosmic lottery. Instead, your internal frequency perfectly matched the vibration of a specific, high-probability wave. Your focused observation literally forced that invisible wave to collapse into a solid, tangible reality. But how exactly do you choose which wave to collapse? The key hides within your emotional resonance. The universe does not speak English, Spanish, or any human language. The universe communicates exclusively through the frequency of your emotions. Your mind sends out the electrical signal representing your desires and thoughts, but it is your heart, your deep emotional state, that generates the magnetic pull. Together, they form an electromagnetic signature that sweeps through the quantum field. If you constantly feel a sense of lack, fear, or anxiety, your magnetic field will inevitably pull waves of probability that match that exact vibration. You will collapse realities that give you more reasons to feel afraid. However, when you cultivate a deep, unshakable feeling of gratitude, joy, and abundance before the physical event even occurs, you become a massive quantum magnet. You lock onto the highest probabilities, forcing the field to bend to your joyful expectation. Consider those moments you call mere coincidences. Have you ever been thinking about a specific person, someone you have not spoken to in years, and suddenly your phone rings with their name on the screen? Society trains you to brush this off as a random anomaly. But in the realm of quantum mechanics, there are no accidents. This is a flawless demonstration of entangled consciousness. Your focused thought sent a ripple through the invisible web connecting all things. The wave of probability where that person reaches out to you became highly energized by your attention. By simply holding them in your mind, you collapse the distance between your two realities. This phenomenon is known as synchronicity. Synchronicities are not just cute little winks from the universe, they are literal breadcrumbs of the quantum field, providing immediate feedback that your consciousness is actively rearranging the particles of your external world. Let us talk about the strange, mystical phenomenon known as déjà vu. You walk into a room, or you hear a fragment of a conversation, and suddenly a wave of electricity washes over your body. You feel an absolute certainty that you have lived this exact moment before. Mainstream science will try to convince you that this is merely a momentary glitch in your brain chemistry. But your soul knows better. Déjà vu is a profoundly metaphysical event. It is the exact moment when the wave of probability you are currently collapsing perfectly intersects with the highest timeline your soul mapped out before you were even born. It is a spiritual checkpoint. When you experience déjà vu, the quantum field is actively validating your path. It is whispering to your consciousness, confirming that you have successfully navigated the labyrinth of choices and arrived at the exact coordinate in space and time where you were always destined to be. Now, let us examine the concept of the perfect opportunity. People often complain that they are waiting for their big break, waiting for the right person to notice them, or waiting for the stars to align. This waiting state is incredibly dangerous because it places your power entirely outside of yourself. It assumes the wave collapses you, rather than you collapsing the wave. Remember, the quantum field is completely neutral. It has no agenda for your life. It simply mirrors what you present to it. If your identity is tied to being someone who is perpetually waiting, the field will tirelessly deliver endless realities where you are forced to wait. To experience a massive breakthrough, you must radically shift your internal posture. You must stop waiting for the wave and become the observation that forces it into existence. You do this by living exactly as the version of yourself who has already seized the opportunity. One of the greatest traps in the art of quantum creation is the energy of desperation. When you want something so badly that it consumes you, you actually push the manifestation further away. Why does this happen? It is because desperation is fundamentally rooted in the vibration of absence. When you beg the universe for money, love, or success, your dominant electromagnetic signal is broadcasting the message that you do not have these things. The quantum field, acting as a perfect mirror, obediently collapses a reality that matches your broadcast. It gives you a reality where you continue to not have what you want. The secret to mastering the wave collapse is absolute detachment. You must declare your intention with crystal clarity and then totally release the need to control how it arrives. You must surrender to the intelligence of the field. When you let go, you remove the resistance, allowing the wave to effortlessly manifest in your three-dimensional world. Think about the times you have experienced a sudden, brilliant epiphany. You are taking a shower or driving down an empty highway, and suddenly an entire complex idea is downloaded directly into your brain. It feels as if the thought did not originate from your own intellect. And you are right, it did not. In those moments of quiet routine, your conscious mind stops endlessly chattering. You inadvertently drop your resistance and enter a state of pure receptivity. You become an open antenna. Because you stopped trying so hard, you effortlessly tuned into a higher frequency within the quantum field. The sudden idea was simply a wave of high probability containing the solution to your problem. Because you were momentarily aligned, the wave collapsed into a tangible thought. This proves that ultimate intelligence is not something you generate from within your physical brain, but something you access from the infinite field surrounding you. We must heavily address the societal programming that deliberately blinds you to this truth. From the moment you entered the educational system, You were trained to view the world through a strictly materialistic lens. You were taught that matter is solid, that reality is external, and that you are merely a small biological machine fighting for survival. This is not an accident. A population that believes in random luck and solid, unyielding reality is a population that is incredibly easy to control. If you believe your circumstances are dictated by external forces, you will never attempt to change them from within. Awakening to your quantum nature is the ultimate act of rebellion. When you finally realize that the physical world is nothing but a delayed reflection of your internal state, you become completely unmanageable to the systems of control. You step out of the matrix of victimhood and reclaim the throne of your own consciousness. One of the most challenging aspects of living as a conscious observer is understanding the concept of time delay. We live in a dense, three-dimensional reality. While the quantum field shifts instantly in response to your thoughts and emotions, physical matter takes time to rearrange itself. Imagine steering a massive ocean liner. You turn the wheel, but the ship continues moving in the old direction for a while before the new course takes effect. Many people begin to shift their frequency, they hold the vision, but when their physical reality does not change within 24 hours, they lose faith. They declare that the law of attraction does not work, and they instantly collapse back into their old vibration. You must understand that the delay is not a denial. The physical world is just heavy. The particles are slowly realigning to match your new electromagnetic signature. You must hold the vision steadfastly, even when your eyes tell you nothing has changed. Let us decode the phenomenon of meeting the exact right person at the exact right time. You miss your usual train, you stop for a coffee at a place you never go to, and you end up sitting next to the person who becomes your soulmate or your greatest business partner. From the perspective of the old paradigm, this is the ultimate stroke of random luck. But from the quantum perspective, your higher self orchestrated a masterpiece of synchronized wave collapses. Long before your physical bodies crossed paths, your energetic signatures found each other in the field. You both broadcasted a desire for that specific connection. The universe then utilized what you perceive as minor inconveniences, like missing a train, to maneuver your physical avatars into the exact spatial coordinates required for the meeting. The obstacle was actually a divine intervention, forcing you into alignment with the reality you asked for. Why do people find themselves repeating the exact same toxic cycles in their lives? Why do they attract the same abusive partners with different faces, or continually fall into the same financial ruin? It is not a curse, and it is certainly not bad luck. It is a matter of neurological addiction to a specific emotional frequency. Your body becomes chemically addicted to familiar emotions, even if those emotions are miserable. If you carry unresolved trauma, your body feels safe in the vibration of chaos. Because you continuously broadcast the frequency of betrayal or loss, your consciousness acts like a broken record, constantly collapsing the same wave of probability over and over again. To break the curse, you must do the agonizing work of changing your internal baseline. You must heal the trauma and actively choose to feel different emotions, forcing the quantum field to finally serve you a brand new reality. Do you realize the immense, terrifying power of your spoken word? When you speak, you are not just pushing air through your vocal cords. You are taking invisible energy from the quantum field and giving it physical form through sound vibrations. Words are literal spells. When you casually say things like, "I am always broke," or "I never get lucky," you are not just describing your current situation, you are issuing a firm command to the universe. You are observing a negative outcome and demanding that the field collapse a wave to prove you right. Every time you complain, you are actively manifesting more of what you hate. To master your reality, you must become ruthlessly disciplined with your language. You must speak only of that which you wish to create. You must declare your reality as if it is already a finalized physical fact, leaving no room for the field to interpret anything other than your absolute success. There is a profound secret about manifestation that very few people discuss. Often, right before a massive quantum leap occurs in your life, everything appears to completely fall apart. You lose your job, a relationship ends abruptly, or a sudden crisis emerges. In a panic, you might think you have manifested disaster. But what is actually happening is a radical clearing of space. In order for the field to bring you the new, high-frequency reality you demanded, the old structures that no longer match that vibration must be destroyed. The universe is literally tearing down the old building to pour the foundation for your new castle. This period of chaos is the ultimate test of your observer state. If you react with terror and victimhood, you will anchor yourself to the destruction. But if you remain completely calm, observing the chaos with the deep knowing that it is simply the physical world rearranging itself, you will accelerate the arrival of your new life. I want you to heavily consider the reality of parallel timelines. Quantum physics suggests that every choice you make splits the universe into divergent paths. This means that right now, there is a version of you who made all the right choices. There is a version of you living in absolute financial freedom, perfect health, and boundless love. That version of you is not a fantasy. They are a literal, existing entity operating on a different frequency in the quantum field. You do not need to invent a new reality from scratch. You simply need to tune your consciousness to the timeline where it already exists. How do you do this? By making choices in the present moment that the highest version of yourself would make. When you act, speak, and feel like the parallel version of you who already has everything, you create a vibrational bridge. You literally merge your current timeline with the timeline of your wildest dreams. We must shatter your perception of time completely. You have been taught that time is a straight line, moving from the past, through the present, and into the future. But in the quantum field, time does not exist in this rigid way. Everything that has ever happened, and everything that will ever happen, is occurring right now in the eternal present moment. Your past is just a memory wave you choose to collapse, and your future is a probability wave you are currently aiming at. Because everything is happening right now, you have the profound ability to change your past by changing your perception of it in the present. When you forgive a past trauma, you literally alter the energetic ripple it sends into your current reality. You heal the timeline. By anchoring yourself entirely in the absolute present moment, the only place where true observation occurs, you gain total access to the levers of the universe. Living as a conscious observer requires walking blindly into the dark, trusting the invisible architecture more than the physical evidence before your eyes. Society demands proof before belief. They say, "I will believe it when I see it." But the quantum law states the exact opposite. You must believe it completely in order to see it. You must generate the feeling of total, absolute certainty within your body without a single shred of physical evidence to support it. This is what ancient texts refer to as faith. It is not a religious concept, but a pure physical mechanism. When you walk with the unshakable knowing that your desired wave has already collapsed, the universe has no choice but to rush to fill the void and present the physical manifestation. The people who change the world are the ones who refuse to let their current external reality dictate their internal vibration. Let us talk about the ultimate hack to collapsing reality, the frequency of radical, illogical gratitude. Most people only feel gratitude after they receive a gift. They wait for the external event to trigger the internal chemical response. But to the quantum field, giving thanks for an event that has not yet materialized is the ultimate sign of mastery. When you close your eyes and feel tears of overwhelming gratitude for the healing, the wealth, or the love that you have not yet physically touched, you short-circuit your brain. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a real external event and a vividly imagined internal one. It begins to broadcast the exact signature of having received the blessing. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. It is the energetic glue that binds the wave of probability to your physical dimension, making the manifestation absolutely inevitable. If you truly want to manipulate the quantum field, you must become incredibly protective of your attention. Your attention is the most valuable currency in the universe, which is exactly why the media, the news, and corporations fight so ruthlessly to steal it from you. When you spend hours doom scrolling, watching news about disaster, sickness, and economic collapse, you are freely giving away your observer power. You are using your divine energy to collapse realities of fear and limitation, not just for yourself, but for the collective consciousness. To master your reality, you must starve the negative timelines of your attention. You must turn off the noise and relentlessly focus only on the visions and frequencies that elevate your spirit. Where your attention goes, the energy flows, and the wave completely collapses. Guard your focus as if your entire life depends on it, because on a quantum level, it absolutely does. When you fully integrate these truths, you will begin to experience what we call quantum leaps. A normal, linear life requires logical steps. You must go from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. It is slow and exhausting. But when you master the observer effect, you can skip the middle steps entirely. You can jump straight from step 1 to step 10. This happens because you stop trying to physically manipulate the world through hard labor and struggle. Instead, you change your fundamental identity in the field. When your internal frequency shifts radically, your external reality is forced to snap into place instantly to match the new vibration. People around you will be shocked. They will call you an overnight success. They will say you got incredibly lucky. But you will smile, knowing that you simply chose a different wave from the infinite ocean of probability. This is the moment of ultimate integration. You are not a human being trying to have a spiritual experience. You are the infinite, limitless quantum field locally expressing itself through a biological spacesuit. The mind reading these words right now is the exact same intelligence that keeps the planets spinning and the galaxies expanding. Stop playing small. Stop accepting the crumbs of reality that society throws at you. You have the power to observe entire universes into existence. As you move forward from this very moment, I want you to walk through your life as the absolute master of your domain. Watch your thoughts, feel your emotions deeply, and observe your reality with the calm, powerful knowing of a true creator. The illusion of luck is dead. The era of your conscious creation has officially begun. Everything we have discussed today leads to one singular, earth-shattering revelation. You are not simply existing inside of reality. You are reality itself, experiencing and observing itself from a specific point of view. You are the creator, the observer, and the collapsed wave all at once. There is no external force punishing you, and there is no random luck blessing you. There is only your consciousness, infinitely shaping the quantum clay of the universe. Thank you for joining me on this profound journey today. If this message resonated with your soul, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like to help collapse this knowledge into the realities of others who need to hear it. Now, I want you to anchor this energetic shift. Go down to the comments right now and write the phrase, "I am the conscious observer, creating my reality." Let that be your permanent declaration to the universe. Tell me, what synchronicities or strange signs have you been noticing in your life recently that prove your reality is shifting?